So tomorrow's New York County depends on the actions taken today. It depends on what we're doing at the local level to bring about efficiencies, to bring about mandate relief from the state. And we're doing that for a reason, because the association has brought to the attention several issues to the state: Medicaid, the cost of pensions, the cost of public assistance and safety net, child welfare, special education, preschool, indigent defense and probation, youth detention costs. These are all areas which the state controls and is consuming in what we have called 9 state mandates, consuming 90% of the county property tax. That's why this was so important these past few years, and that's why you'll hear in a minute the impact of some of the relief, this important relief the state has provided to the counties. So the path traveled so far: state-imposed costs, property tax freeze, and the impact of your county budget. So let's take a look back at where we were. And let's use a 10-year snapshot in time. And this chart that you're looking at now uses a 10-year of 2010 to 2020. And the blue line is showing your revenues. These are the state reimbursed costs for some of the mandates that I just talked about, but dozens of other programs that the state is requiring the counties to provide, and it includes sales tax revenues trended at historic rates. And on the red line, the expenditures, these are the mandated expenditures, the fixed expenditures that we have, and pensions and health insurance and things like that. And if we look and project out this trend, we showed in 2011 a $6 billion gap. That's significant. Since September of 2011, again, just keeping within this time frame, counties have acted to reduce costs. We've been reducing costs for decades, but certainly since the Great Recession, there's been a lot of activity to reduce costs. And combined with important state budget actions that have happened since 2011 to lower the growth in state mandates, and in particular Medicaid and pensions, there has been an improvement in the long-term outlook for budget projections for the New York counties. Again, if we look back, 2011, that 10-year time frame, $6 billion. Today, the same analysis, and you can see at this next chart, shows that is cut in half. This is important. This shows the direct action by the state of New York's taking over a hard cap in Medicaid. Again, the blue line showing the revenues, property taxes with a property tax freeze, our cap amount, and if you look at sales tax trending at historical rates of what we can project in sales tax and state reimbursement, and combined with that red line of expenditures now, the blue line does also include casino gaming revenue as well as the pension reform and the Medicaid hard cap again. But that red line showing the expenditures includes the Medicaid hard cap and the pension reform. You could see, because of the state actions of those particular areas, the county actions of selling certain assets, privatizing landfills and public residential health care facilities or nursing homes, workforce reductions, that gap is narrowing. That's important. There are some caveats, however. Let's talk for a minute about what they are. While the out-year fiscal gap has indeed narrowed, and that is a good thing and a step in the right direction, the county's current fiscal condition is precarious. It's fragile. The revenue impact of the Great Recession is not over. And we had projected back in 2008, when we entered the recession late as a state, that we would stay in longer as a state. And as we look at the first quarter of 2014 sales tax collections, that remains the case. 27 New York counties showing negative growth over this time last year. The recession certainly seems to be holding on to us. State-mandated programs and fixed government costs continue to rise faster than available revenues. And cutting local services alone has not been enough to close the fiscal gap. Therefore, we have been using cash reserves these past few years. A note of caution: the lower level of reserves does leave counties vulnerable and less capable of absorbing any further economic shocks. And workforce reductions, programs and funding cuts, and selling public assets such as nursing homes and landfills and certified home health agencies will reach a point of diminishing returns in that we have nothing left to privatize or sell or get out of the business of. So summing it up, again, important actions by the New York governor, important actions by the New York legislature have cut the out-year deficit in half. The projected fiscal gap of about $3 billion, though, in 2020 represents 10% of the county's available revenue. So, logically speaking, if nothing else is done between now and then, that would mean the county would have to cut their local services, their budget, by 10% in 2020 to achieve balance. Controlling costs and revenues is an ongoing challenge both for the state of New York and for the counties and local governments, but in particular for the counties, controlling costs and revenues is important because the state plays such a significant role in a county government. What am I talking about? If you look at a typical county, 70 to 80% of all spending is for state and federal programs and fixed costs. Now, we have to be mindful, we still are providing local services, road patrol, public health programs, Meals on Wheels, veterans programs, all sorts of regional quality of life programs for our communities. Those are taking place simultaneously as we administer and fund the state programs. Let's shift to state reimbursement. Shifting to state reimbursement here, counties do not receive state aid. We do not get unrestricted revenue sharing. We used to in the 80s, but that was eliminated for counties and recently eliminated for New York City over the past few years. So towns, cities, and villages receiving revenue sharing, the counties do not. We, in fact, receive reimbursement, partial and fully funded, for the state's programs. Let's look and see what the state controller has said, the chief auditor. For a 10-year period, 2001 to 2011, total federal and state aid to municipalities has failed to keep pace with inflation. In the same 10-year period, state reimbursement to counties dropped from 15.7% to 11.6% of total county costs. And it was only due to the influx of federal stimulus funds has the share of federal aid been maintained. So with stimulus funds phasing out at 2011, no new federal funds to fill, the federal aid levels will fall now to pre-stimulus levels. One final note here. NYSAC has identified during a 4-year time period, also during the Great Recession here, that the state did shift $350 million to the New York counties during this time period with no commensurate reduction in state-mandated costs during this time period. This is significant and remains in place today. So let's look and see and talk about, for the few remaining minutes that we have, the property tax freeze. If we look at this new law, and if we talk about this freeze, the state budget included a temporary 3-year freeze/rebate program. The state rebate checks will be sent to STAR-eligible properties, calculated by the state on a house-by-house basis. It'll begin for school district levies, school districts that stay under the tax cap in May of 2014, with the budgets coming out in May. Those budgets that stay under the tax cap, the homeowners in that particular school district will receive a rebate in 2014, and should the school district again stay under the May of 2015 property tax cap levy, they will receive a rebate in the next 2 years. All other municipal levy rebates will be paid in 15 and 16, assuming the municipalities, including the counties, stay under their property tax cap level. So the state estimates a cumulative rebate of about $1.5 billion over the next 3-year period. So let's break down for a minute the property tax freeze, talk for a minute about how it works, the conditions necessary for a rebate to be paid. Year 1, let's stay with municipalities, for counties. municipality must stay, this applies to the towns, cities, and villages also, but certainly for the counties, a municipality must stay within their tax cap. So as long as the municipality, the county, stays under their property tax cap level, rebates will be paid to their residents throughout the county. Those rebates are paid if the levy stays the same or goes down. In year 2, this is where things shift a bit. Again, the municipality must stay within the tax cap, but there's also a plus here. And the plus is the municipality must submit and receive approval of a government efficiency plan or a shared services plan that will demonstrate savings, and this plan needs to be submitted to the State Director of the Division of Budget on June 1st of 2015. This plan needs to show a 1% saving of their property tax levy for years 2017, 2018, and 2019. So let's repeat that. Municipality in year 2 needs to stay under a tax cap and also submit a government efficiency plan or a shared services plan that's showing in the out years of 17, 18, 19, 1% of their levy savings based on the 20 and 14 levy. So using the baseline of 2014's levy, show 1% savings in year 1, 17, 1% savings in year 2, 2018, and 1% saving in 2019. These municipal efficiency plans can be, the law anticipates the county to take the lead to facilitate this process. The governor has made this clear that he would like the county to take the lead on this. And he is moving towards looking at the counties taking the lead in facilitating a dialogue, encouraging municipalities to jointly submit. So if that's the case, it's the aggregate levy that needs to be cut by 1% each year for 3 years, or the law also authorizes a town, city, or village to issue its own government efficiencies plan directly to the state. The law requires the director of the division of the budget to consider existing shared services or government efficiencies plans already in place based on a regional, perhaps how the economy is in that area, what has the county done over the past few years, selling a public asset or a nursing home, which took a major impact on the levy. I think those things should be considered. But the governor's office has indicated that this is a look-forward program and would like to see things going on a going-forward basis. So summing up here, what does 1% look like again here? This chart here showing again what I just discussed. All localities could join together. It's the combined levy. Those savings must accrue in 17, 18, 19 in a plan submitted in June of 2015. And what happens if the savings projected from the efficiencies plan do not materialize? The law is silent on that. It just requires a best case effort by the municipalities. Okay, so summing up, closing fiscal gaps, summing up in this particular area, and improving the efficiency of county government is an ongoing process, has always been, will continue to be. I think we all need to be rethinking, including the state of New York, the state agencies, and how they're interacting with their local government counterparts. I think the taxpayers expect the state to be coordinating with local governments on best practices and where state agencies are located within our communities, but certainly local government partners need to work cooperatively with each other as well. Pursuing the most efficient government operations is part of the solution for lowering the property tax burden. We know that, and we've been doing that. So let's talk for a few minutes about things that we are doing. Just a sampling of issues that the Association of Counties is collecting on your behalf. On Onondaga, this example showing Onondaga and Oneida County sharing medical examiner services. Ulster County in the second example repurposing a school district elementary school as an extension of their community college which had sat dormant. and using this as community colleges and offices of their health and human services. Why? Because they could serve the public that needs it most, closest to the people. Genesee and Orleans County sharing of public health services. Essex County in the Adirondack region consolidating offices of community development and planning. Youth Bureau, Stop DWI. Genesee County buying and maintaining street signs for municipalities. Chemung County consolidating highway departments, public works projects, road, bridges, engineering services. Dutchess County sharing a school resource officer and providing a conflict defender program jointly with neighboring Ulster County. A few more examples of the thousands that exist. Westchester County providing employee assistance programs to 33 municipalities within its jurisdiction and neighboring Putnam County. Nassau County on Long Island buying gasoline, diesel, heating oil, motor oil, antifreeze, industrial, medical, and propane for its towns, villages, schools, libraries, sanitary districts, community college, water districts, and fire academy. And finally, Rensselaer County, like many counties, dispatching all fire department, ambulance squads, police departments for nearly all of its municipalities. NYSAC is in the process of collecting thousands of shared services in place now all across New York State. If your county has not submitted, please send in this information to the Association of Counties, as it will be helpful for others. Finally, it's our hope that with all this information, we can further inspire our local government leaders to continue to innovate and maximize efficiencies at all levels of government. Counties understand the fiscal challenges that state leaders are facing. We support the difficult choices that have to be made in Albany and work collaboratively with our state counterparts. We know at the local level, the government closest to the people, that we have to do more with less, and we are. As you can see from these examples, we are doing just that and will continue to do more. Again, we must work together to close budget gaps at the local level, the state level. We must share services, whether it's state and local governments working together or local governments and school districts working together. We must work to reduce the cost of programs and services and work towards a fundamental realignment of how we fund government services in New York. Please know that your state association that has been around since 1925, representing, educating, and advocating on your behalf, will continue to do this and will continue to advocate for mandate relief from state-mandated programs over the next several years to come. Finally, and in conclusion, the association, in conjunction with the School Boards Association, our counterparts in the Association of Towns and the New York Conference of Mayors, will host a regional forum on innovation in a time of forced efficiencies and launch the Municipal Innovation Exchange Summit, which really is a forum and an opportunity for you to engage with school, county, city, village, town, and county leaders from all across the state to discuss amongst ourselves shared services, success stories, and learn how to create more efficiencies for our taxpaying communities. This mix, these shared services, government efficiencies, will be the wave of the future. We hope that you'll have the conversation locally, continue to work together, and continue to interact with your state association. On behalf of the New York Association of Counties, it's been my pleasure to talk to you for a few minutes. Thank you very much. Take care.